Namaste, my friend. 5 minutes every day. For example, I'm saying 5 minutes of entering into the auspiciousness every day in the morning. 1 week, 35 minutes. 1 month, around 140 minutes or 2 hours. And in 1 year, you can think of it 24 hours a year. I'm simply asking, can I Can I commit 5 minutes without fail every day? 30 minutes, take another example of 30 minutes of listening, learning, another 15 minutes of contemplation and reflection. It comes out to be 30 or 40 hours a year. Practice another 20 minutes. You can very well imagine, can I spare this with a commitment? Answer is no. And then we ask, it has been many years I did not change. How it is possible? I cannot spare even half an hour to 1 hour every day, 365 hours out of 1 year. That very commitment shows that we are bound to change. That very commitment changes you. It is not number of weeks in the months. And that is what we have seen in the life of the Buddha. Let us compare, and then today I will just talk about what to do, and what to do and what not to do to change your entire life in few weeks and the months. We may talk of meditation, we may talk of awakening, we may talk of realization, we may talk of permanent peace and happiness, but who is going to do that? Who is going to discover? That person or individual, if he or she is not committed, even to spare few minutes every day, is it possible? Well, let us compare. Don't go into that area, but let us compare what Buddha did and how I can do what he did in a simple, easy manner. Buddha had a birth, Siddhartha, in the kingdom. He was a prince. An astrologer predicted that he would either be a great king or a great monk. The king had only one son, so he didn't want. He said, "Oh, he should take over my kingdom." So, first few years of our life, I don't know if when I was born, I don't know what kind of parents that I have, whether they had a good relationship with them, whether they were inspiring their kids or not. We didn't know anything, whether they were more concerned about their kids or not, and we need not to blame and complain anyway. But in case of the Buddha, the king was extremely worried that he would become a monk. Had the king been really wise, he should have given him the opportunity, given him or given the Buddha an opportunity to discover that permanent peace and happiness, but he did not do. Instead, he did the opposite. And that is what I say. He created a sin city in Las Vegas in his kingdom, and he put his young son into all kinds of pleasures. Normally, our parents, out of the blue, guide us, no, 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 don't go there. Don't enter into too much of pleasure. Don't enter into the drugs. They are not good. Don't drink too much. But he did the opposite. Why he did the opposite? Because he thought putting his son into a pleasure will make him slave to all kinds of pleasures, and ultimately he will take over the kingdom. Then he cannot become the monk, he cannot become the great master. Rather, he was forced to all kinds of pleasures. And what about us? We are chasing pleasures, peace, and happiness outside. We are chasing pleasure, peace, happiness outside from the relations, from the people, where it is not. So, will I not be in a stress or in suffering? You have learnt it, you have understood it. So now I will grow every day. I will grow and realize every day that I need not to seek peace and happiness from others. That is what we have been learning. Single one step, that if your mind stops seeking peace and happiness from outside, from your relations, from the people, 80% of the problem is gone. But how it is achievable? I have to commit to the practice regularly. I have to reflect on it. Oh, my mind was seeking the pleasure, and that's why I got into the stress. Let me go home and sit and contemplate and reflect and get rid of these thoughts. Life is different. Did I make a list of pain, struggle, anxiety, and understand that these anxieties and the pain have come because of my expectations in the mind? I don't want to leave the expectations, and I want peace and happiness. Is it possible? We're just comparing, and then we will come to the main thing that, oh, this is the way it should be done. Do you see that? Siddhartha at his young age was given a golden cage with all kinds of pleasures. And then, even then, he came out of that cage. We want to keep that golden cage. When I come to you, you should appreciate and praise me so that I will feel the pleasure. Or even what happens sometime. The guy has appreciated you, but your mind thinks that this is not the right way of appreciation, and you are frustrated. So mind is already filled with these crazy stuff. And I expect the peace and happiness should be in my life all the time. And then we complain that it has been many years and I have not been able to succeed. Teacher is wrong, principles are wrong. Did you apply it? Did you commit to yourself? We will talk about it, how to commit. That is our goal today. So, excessive indulgence doesn't lead to us to lasting happiness. So, I have to find out why that indulgence results into the impurities of the mind. Do we also want to live life like the young Buddha? Is it possible in the life, in the state of well being, to remain young all the time? Everyone should appreciate me all the time. Is it possible? Can I live? Can I live in a waking state 24 by 7? No, you will fall into sleep. Can you live 24 by 7 sleeping state? No. Something inside you push you back into the waking state. So when we are doing the practice regularly with commitment, I'm not asking 23 hours of the practice. Come what may. You have a headache, you do the practice. You are not feeling good, that is the right time to do the practice. One guy was telling me that I have an acute headache. He sent an email last week. He asked me that, I have an acute headache, so hence I'm not attending your session. I said, you must attend the session because you have a headache. So what happened, you see that? Four encounters, that is very important. That will answer your question of 5 years or 6 years of continuous journey and no change, and why we should understand clearly. And if we do not understand, then we will continue to blame and complain. Buddha, I told you, he went into to visit the kingdom. He had four encounters: an old man and a sick man and a corpse and a monk. He started contemplating in his head. He did not say to the horse driver, he did not say to the horse driver, he said, oh, let me contemplate and reflect. Everyone dies? Yes, everyone dies. Everyone becomes sick? Yes, everyone becomes sick. So he realized that I will also become sick, I will also die, I will also become old. And the fourth encounter, he saw the monk. So he contemplated in his head. He did not say it outside. That is what is the contemplation. I have to think of it. The non thinker will never be in peace and happiness. Peace is a matter of choice. The stress and suffering comes from the back door. We don't invite them. We don't invite them. They come from the back door. So he contemplated and reflected, and then he also thought of that if I ask my dad, can I meditate? You are totally free and given an opportunity in your life. You can make a choice and a commitment that I will definitely do it. That is why he thought, let me leave the kingdom. I have to think, when there is a stress, there is an anxiety, I have to ask my mind why you have an anxiety. Then only I can realize this anxiety is because of my expectations. It has not come from outside. So, anyhow, that is what he contemplated, and he left the kingdom. He left the kingdom. That is what is called the renunciation. We need not to leave the kingdom. We need not to leave the house. We need not to stop our profession. This is a symbolic message. Even though he left it, but there are many other ways. For 1 hour, you leave everything of the world outside and you commit yourself to the practice. Is it possible? I'm not asking you to leave your house and uh, leave the money and the profession and the relationship. Is it possible 1 hour without fail, or maybe less than an hour? I will talk about it later in the end of this talk. Is it possible that my mind says, bye bye this house, bye bye this world, bye bye all my relations? You say it intellectually, you feel it, and then be ready for the practice. That is almost equivalent to uh, leaving the kingdom and going to the forest. Is it possible? I would say only for 4 weeks. You say to yourself, you commit to yourself, now there is no disturbance, no phone, no TV, no la. Okay, now this 1 hour belongs to me only, in which I will do these following practices, which I'm going to talk to you. 4 weeks is required. Can I have that level of commitment of a Buddha? This is equivalent to that. But what Buddha did is extraordinary. He left the forest. His master told him, oh, you want to be my student? Yes. You have to sleep on the floor. Buddha smiled and agreed, said, yes, that is why I have come. You have to take only 1 meal a day. He was taking 5 meals a day, all kinds of pleasure, simple, normal food. You have to sleep only 5 hours a day. You have to do the practice 5 hours. Do you agree? Buddha said yes. Yes to everything. I'm saying, is it possible to spare 1 hour every day, or maybe 5 or 10 minutes every day before going to sleep? Do you commit yourself? And if that commitment is there, the life has to change. Because of that non commitment, the mind returns to the impurities of the mind. It starts thinking in the same way as it was thinking before the practice. So, for 6 years, Buddha did all the practices. He made his mind pure. It's a very important step in the journey that if we commitment, first is the commitment from the intellect, and the intellect then becomes aware of the mind. The mind tries to run away to different events and incidents outside, and then you bring it back and you do the practice. The life will change. That is what the Buddha did going to the forest. I need not to teach you. Let the time come. Because of your commitment, your intellect will reveal the knowledge and you will write to me. Few emails you have written to me that, today, then what? You have written, oh, then what? I'm in peace and happiness throughout the day. I like it. Those revelations should come every day, every minute, every second. It means the mind is totally purified. It is not purified because I don't commit. I will tell you about the commitment. So I talked about the revelation. You have the knowledge. What I'm teaching you, you all have you have that knowledge all the time. All the time, yes. Even in stress, yes. How can you say? There is a big storm. The tree is bending to one side. You see it in your mind, and your mind says, oh, there is a very strong windstorm there. Does the tree say to you that there is a storm? Does the tree affected? Does the tree has an anxiety and duality? What I am saying is that any person, every person is outside, every event is outside, every incident is outside, and mind is inside. So, event outside, internal perception by the mind, internal perception by the mind. There is a guy here who did not appreciate you. Your mind has a negative perception and you enter into anxiety. Don't you? Your mind has a choice that what I have to do with this appreciation. Why should I be worried? Is it possible or not? Yes, it is possible. So if I don't question the mind, why you are seeking an appreciation, why you have strong likes and dislikes, why you are in pain because some event has taken place outside. Why it is happening? It is happening because of your likes and dislikes, because you are seeking something from the outer event. So, and you enter into anxiety. You drop that expectation, your anxiety is gone, your stress is gone. Are you getting it? I said your mind is inside, it perceives, it gives you an experience of anxiety and the peace, and the event is outside. Event will continue to remain outside. Event is not going to enter into you. But how it enters? It enters into my mind based on my expectation, based on my likes and dislikes, based on my impurities of the mind. Then the problem. So, in case of the Buddha, what happened? He realized that this is what is happening. If the mind simply perceives the world as it is, without any expectations, he realized the calmness under a tree. And then the master taught him the meditation, and ultimately he got awakening. Now, see, very important point is there. If you are committed to the journey of the Eastern wisdom, you are doing all those practices as told by the teacher, you start experiencing the change. And that positive change becomes so strong that your mind starts talking about that change in your life. And when you talk to the others, it impresses others. But in the beginning, it is not possible. In the beginning, people will say, oh, they look at this guy sitting in meditation. And still, but I have seen this guy years ago, he has been in the stress. But because of your inner peace and the calmness, inspires you to continue. And you continue. There is a continuity of the peace for 1 week, second week, third week, fourth week. You did not react to the event previously you were reacting, and the people notice it. Relations notice it. Incidents takes place in your life, and you are not reacting at all. People notice it. When the people will notice this, you can make it that you are changing. The reverse happened to the Buddha. Was awakened, he rushed to his kingdom, and the father and the wife was waiting outside. You see that he changed inside himself. He was not expecting anything outside. And his dad, because everyone will have the same old perception. about you, about me. My colleagues with whom I studied in my school days, majority of the people still they have the same perception because they don't want to learn, because they don't want to find. And the same thing happened with his dad. Dad said, "Okay, I know." You see that what he said? You know, I heard from my spies that you were sleeping on the floors, and that's why you have come to me. Buddha did not go to the return to the kingdom because of this. So when his father told this, started taunting the Buddha, Buddha was smiling. Why Buddha was smiling? Because he was experiencing peace and happiness. He was not expecting from his dad that you must say that I'm awakened. Why I should worry about the world outside when I'm in peace? So then what happens? Because of that commitment in the journey, you awaken to that peace. And that peace and the joy changes your mind completely. You have dropped all the expectations. And Buddha smiled and he said, I have not come to stay in the kingdom. I have come here to take you, to show you, to help you discover the permanent peace and happiness. What you are doing is not going to help you. They did not follow them. Buddha was unaffected. Okay, don't follow. I have come. I have done my duty. I get to simply worry that you should do meditation. No, first you check yourself. Do you live into that state of calmness and meditation? Have you lived in the 4 weeks? There is no event of anxiety and duality, and people have noticed that. Then only you can say to someone, Buddha was not affected. We should not, even if we say we are not affected by, and then he taught to his 5 friends. I have already told you this story. And then at last, you know what he did? And then he started teaching. He became a great master. Lifelong living in peace and happiness for more than 45 years. If I'm not mistaken, he died around 89 or 90. Means he left his body. So now question comes, what should we do? I'm laying a strong foundation. What you have already learned in these years, I don't know, you blame years, or you blame the teacher, or you blame the knowledge that nothing has happened to me. So you have to identify whom did you blame. So now the question comes, what should we do? What we should do, what to do daily. Another question we should answer is clear. So the so-called the first practice is Mangala Charan, and mind becomes the seeker. I have to make the mind seeker every day in the morning. It will take only 5 minutes. How you will do? You just pick up the Shanti mantra. You already know. You told me, I remember that you were doing that Shanti mantra while walking the dog. Walking the dog becomes the secondary level. Your mind is totally absorbed into the Shanti mantra. So I will explain that. So it will take hardly 5 minutes. And then listening and learning for another 15 or 20. You pick up any talk that I gave to you. Any talk. 15-20 minutes of attentive listening and learning. Not that you are listening and then you will have a cup of tea and a coffee. You take the tea and coffee before. I told you, Buddha left the kingdom. You leave the entire kingdom during that 1 hour of your journey every day. Is it possible? Just an hour of commitment. And I'm breaking down that 1 hour into different segments. So, first is second is listening and learning. I've created an abbreviation acronym for you so that you remember. Listening and learning. So, I'm listening and learning, I'm attentive. Even for 15-20 minutes. But if you have time, so listen the entire talk, no problem. So after learning, then you close the audio and then close your eyes. Two parts, contemplation and reflection. How fast you do the contemplation and reflection, that depends on your level of seeking. So CR is the contemplation and reflection. So contemplation, it means that you absorb, assimilate that principle in your mind, and reflection means that your mind is asking now how I can relate it to my daily living, so that you start living into that principle throughout the day. So we have we have we have CR, contemplation and reflection, followed by the practice and experience. You wrote to me, I would say 50 emails where you experienced the change. Is it not a fact? So PE, practice and experience. So I have to live into that experience, and I have during the day, I have to be vigilant that how that experience of the peace and happiness and the joy that I received in meditation is broken by the event relations. Why? So that I can recognize what are the impurities. So, what happens? I purify the mind today, and in the afternoon, I create the impurity of the mind. And someday, what happens? I have done the practice, I have purified the mind, and for the next 2 days, I'm accumulating more and more impurities. So the pressure of the impurities is here, the source of the meditation is here. Do you expect a change? That is why I asked you for a commitment. So once I experience the calmness, I take that calmness in my thought, speech, and action. I will talk about it. That is the meaning of applying the wisdom. So once you apply this wisdom throughout the day, before going to sleep, you ask yourself, you analyze yourself, how many times you were in anxiety, how many times you reacted verbally, how many times your body reacted, or means anxiety is stress the whole day. And then you pinpoint it is happening because of this kind of an impurity. And once you recognize this, days after days, 1 hour today, in the evening you have analyzed, next day you did it, 1 week is required. Even if you have 40% commitment or 20% commitment of a Buddha. When there is anxiety, I should ask myself, I should relate it to the principle. So when my intellect is thinking, reflecting on it, 80% of that anxiety drops and dissolves. I carry forward that impurity of the mind. So this week I'm asking you what you have learned in these years. Can you compress it for your life? Next week I will give you the practice, but this week I just want to see. You told me that you have been learning for so many years, so let me see what you have learned. Go back. MM. What is MM? I say Mangalacharan or Shanti mantra, and the mind becomes a seeker. I make the mind seeker early in the morning, 5 minutes only. You pick up any Shanti mantra, you know that you told me that you have been repeating it. So every day in the morning, first thing to do, you sit up, eyes are closed, and you do the Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Not in Sanskrit, but in English also. Uh, May there be happiness for all, may there be peace for all, may there be completeness for all, may there be auspiciousness for all. We have not to be in a hurry. I'm doing in a hurry. So you do it gently and then you think over it. How it is possible that happiness for all? How it is possible? I have given the answer many times. I am seeking happiness, everyone is seeking happiness in the world. So one guy is seeking happiness by not appreciating you, then why to worry about it? But I'm seeking happiness inside me without any expectation. And then then another 5 minutes, you simply say mentally. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. First, when you say first Shanti, you say Shanti to the external world of people, relationship, etc., etc. So it means I am not expecting anything from the world. Second Shanti is to the unknown world we are entering into. Third Shanti is also there. So just maybe for another 5 minutes, it means in 5 minutes you can do it maybe 100 times. 10 minutes is gone. You follow, you see. I want to see whether you can follow the routine and then write to me. From the day one, second is the listening and learning. You pick up, and I told you it's better to pick up the last word you last talk or second last talk. You listen to it and then you listen to it, listening and learning. That is listening and learning with total attention, with eyes closed. In each word you are listening and you are extracting the principle and the very process. For example, in one of the sessions I explained you Asatoma Satgamaya Ramasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurmamritangamaya. In English, moving, let me move from the false to the real. Let me move from the ignorance to wisdom. Let me move from the mortality to immortality. You have heard it. So you have now it is with you in your mind. So next step is the contemplation and reflection. Contemplation, I said, you focus on that principle and you start asking the question. So let us take one Satoma. I have explained it hundred of times. And so, yes, English translation, let me move from the false to the real. So I ask myself what is false and what is real. So in one talk, I explained to you this false is in all our anxiety, duality, conflict, stress, pain, affliction belongs to the false. And permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom belongs to the real. No, no, but who is responsible for my anxiety, duality, and a conflict? Can you answer that? My impure mind, my expectations, my attachment, my duality, where they live. They live in the mind. If something is black outside and you say it is, you are totally black, does that black attacks you, gives you the anxiety? It is my mental perception. I create the anxiety in myself because of my expectations. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? This is what the contemplation is. So when you contemplate, okay, I could recognize yesterday I was expecting at least this guy should appreciate me. He did not. I returned home and I have a mood off. I was little stressed and I took a cup of coffee. I did not understand that why I'm into anxiety. Now this is the reflection. You have recognized the cause of your anxiety, and once you why should I seek an appreciation and why should I be attached to anyone? So, because of the reflection, your mind says, why should I be attached? Your mind drops that anxiety. That is the right moment to do the practice and experience. So, I'm telling you, you start with yourself and write to me, and then listening and learning. Second step, contemplation and reflection. You have done it, then you do the practice. Once you do the practice after all these steps, it is not more than an hour, I can bet you. And I'm going to give you that practice under these headings. You'll be surprised. And practice and experience, PE. I have done the practice. Now I experience calmness. Now I commit myself, I promise myself that I will take this calmness into my the entire day. Whether I'm living a personal life, professional life, family life, with a person, with an event, anywhere. But the chances are there in the beginning that you may get upset. Because you forget that. Why you forget? Because your mind is overwhelmed with a lot of expectations from the others. In that state, the mind already is agitated. It has forgotten the calmness and the peace that you received from the practice of meditation. Forgetfulness is ignorance. Forgetfulness is the impurity of the mind. But anyhow, this is bound to happen. It happened to the Buddha for 6 years. It happens to everyone. But if I'm a committed seeker, committed means that I must do the practice the way it is suggested me to do it. So you can take care of that crazy mind before going to sleep. I say daily analysis, DA. So there you sit down and you in your mind you write down, or you can even write down on the computer also, how many times I had a sense of anxiety, reaction, duality, and a conflict today. Then you retrieve those events. First is this, second is this, third is this. You have made a list. Now go to the first one. Why you have it? When I practice the Shanti mantra, where I recognize that the anxiety comes due to the expectations, attachment, likes, and dislikes. Oh, that is my habit, so that is my recognition that I had an impure mind. But even when you are reflecting it, then what? Then you conclude it that I will tomorrow, from tomorrow, I will not expect anything from that person, from that event. What will happen? The calmness will be maintained. The next day, you are changed. This is the meaning of practice. That is what I have been inspiring you to feel. Now understand what happens. And you have to contemplate and reflect if you don't say yes to this. You went to any event, you returned, you are burning, you have anxiety, you have anger, you have stress, you have pain. Right? Right. Now ask yourself, are you agitated more than the event causes you the anxiety? Did you understand? Someone comes and he says you are crazy. He said simple word. He said it calmly. But my agitation of my mind was huge. So I accepted the agitation is too much, whereas that person calmly said you are crazy. What it means? It means the outer event has less to do with my agitation, stress, duality, conflict, suffering. Then my mind makes it very big. My mind makes it very big. When the mind makes it very big, and then the mind is already controlling you. Did I not tell you? Mind is the worst master, but mind is the faithful servant. It becomes the faithful servant of the intellect, and the intellect contains the right knowledge. The right knowledge comes when I start thinking about it, not getting carried away by that. Did you understand this last point? What I'm saying that the mind makes a problem huge looking at the world outside, relationship outside. Let me give you an example, simple example, which you have written to me. I was upset. I was seeking an approval from my daughter every time I do something, and now my mind was, and I got upset when he doesn't approve it. When I got upset when she doesn't approve it. She just said out of the blue, it's a common expression. But you take it very seriously. You return home and you are in extreme stress. At that moment, that stress and anxiety was huge, right? It has gone. How many times it has happened? Oh, maybe 100 times. So if it has happened 100 times, it has no value at all. And that value is given to that I'm expecting something from the world outside. That is why I said, because of the impurities of the mind, because of the presence of the impurities of the mind, we make the outer event of a relationship are so huge. I imagine that this is a very big problem. And we enter into stress and anxiety. Mangalacharan, and the mind should become a seeker. 5 minutes, or maybe you'd just say the 10 minutes of the practice. Any Shanti mantra. When the mind becomes a seeker, you simply say pick up that mantra, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So, but remember, when you are saying first Shanti, that Shanti to the external world of people relationships, second Shanti to the unknown world that I know, but I'm stepping into, third Shanti is within. 5 minutes, gently, with emotion. LL, NCR, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. I told you about the contemplation and reflection. When you recognize the outer event did not give me that degree and intensity of the stress which my mind made it so huge and big. That is why we need to do the contemplation and reflection, followed by the practice and experience. So when you do the practice and experience, the you, now you take that experience. You go to some restaurant, you say, oh, pasta is so fine. And if someone is asking you, oh, I love pasta, but I don't find any restaurant, I will tell you. So you have did the practice, you have an experience of the calmness. Why it fades away? Why it dissolves? Who is responsible? But even if it happens, I have to do the daily analysis every day in the evening before going to the sleep so that I will have a deep sleep. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Take an example of MM. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. Contemplation and reflection starts. I focus on may there be happiness for all, what it means. I cannot make anyone happy. No, we are not saying that. We are saying that because the happiness is the essential nature of every being on this earth, including the ant, elephant, tiger, flies, your pets. That you touch them, they are seeking, they want to be in happiness. So you touch, but they feel it is a threat. Is it not? So someone touch you and you feel it is a threat, so you are into anxiety. We are not animals, we are human beings. We are human beings. How they touch? You are crazy, I don't appreciate you, and blah 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 blah, long list. This world is going to blame. Oh, that is the meaning of may there be happiness for all. It means the happiness is common to all beings, yes. Irrespective of their name and the form and the shape and the lifespan, answer is yes. So if someone is criticizing me, because they are not evolving, they are enjoying, they feel as if they will be in peace criticizing and blaming you. But why you take the blame inside? Why? Because happiness is my nature. Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu. May there be peace for all. Peace for all. Peace is where the peace lives. It lives in the mind or in somebody else? No, no, it lives in somebody else who praises me, then I feel peace. Is the statement right? Ask yourself. No, no, no. Where the peace lives. No, I don't know where the peace lives, but if one criticizes me, I get hesitated. Where you get hesitated? In my mind. Oh, so he entered into your mind while sitting outside. Contemplation and reflection. No, he cannot enter. And I can block my mind what he or she is saying. It should not make any difference to me. What I am, I am. Do I have that confidence? May there be peace for all. May there be complete sarvesham purnam bhavatu. May there be completeness in all, wholeness in all. Completeness, wholeness, completeness. What does it mean? Completeness. Complete, complete, complete. Wholeness. When I'm complete, I'm feeling the sense of completeness in the mind. Will I be attached? Will I be desiring something from the outside? No, it's so simple. Remember, I discussed about this couple of times. We need food for survival. We need air for survival. And the nature has programmed. They put us into the waking state, sleep state, and the dream state. I'm not talking of that physical survival. I'm talking of at the mental level. That when the mind feels a sense of incompleteness, then I start searching someone outside to make me feel complete. The one perfect example you gave me, for everything and every project you go to her to seek an approval. So you feel the sense of incompleteness. You're not intelligent, you are experienced, you are senior, you can just, yes, you can take a suggestion, no doubt. Oh, I like to do this, and this is the way I want to do it, and I'll be doing it. And simply listen dispassionately to the suggestion. Come back home and think that, oh, did she tell me something to improve? Yes, I can add this. Don't tell anything. Thank you for your suggestion. So I continue to feel the sense of completeness. And the last line of that mantra is Sarvesham Purnam Bhavat Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for the entire world existence is full of auspiciousness because but my mind perceives it differently. Why the mind perceives it differently? Because of the impurity. And once you have done, then you have already entered into the auspiciousness. Mentally or loudly, Shanti, to the external world, you feel. To the world unknown, second Shanti, third Shanti, Shanti. So when you say Om Shanti, you go to the external world of your old family relationship, etc. You just become aware. Shanti, Shanti. Second Shanti to the unknown world that we are discovering. Third Shanti. You sit when you say third Shanti, you stay there, look deep inside your heart and see that emptiness and blankness and again start. I've already covered the first part. Anyhow, you have to listen to it, remember all the acronym, then follow the practice by yourself. Otherwise, in the next week, I will create the practice.